welcome to the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce Chamber Vibes podcast. Foster and I are back again this morning with another guest who we will introduce in just a few minutes. First, we want to tell you a few things that are going on with the chamber. We are still working on the first installment of our land purchase through our brick campaign. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So the land purchase and the brick campaign, despite the two very different connotations, are tied together. So the land purchase, in 1973, the town and the chamber came together and they decided to build a building. Well, they were so excited about it that they didn't really finalize any of the details. And we don't own the land, but we own our office. So we are in the process of purchasing the land that our building sits on from the town. And we are aiming to raise $10,000 for phase one of the installment. And we're doing so by selling bricks. So if you are familiar with the Wharton Garden at the Bedford Public Library, they have kind of like a similar like brick layout where they sold commemorative bricks and people engraved, the names of loved ones, they engraved their businesses, and nice messages, and they're displayed, in the land. So that's why that came about. And yeah, we're really excited. I've really enjoyed having everybody come in and seeing, the kind of tapestry of Bedford history that the bricks are making. And the bricks will be installed we're going to redo the sidewalk outside of our office, which is, right in Centertown. So it'll be really cool. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's a really fun campaign, and it's been cool to see the different people that are coming in to purchase their brick. It's people that may not necessarily be very involved with the chamber now, but they were years ago, or their loved ones were involved with the chamber years ago, or some of our member businesses that they're not the type of business that's going to be at a networking event every single month, but they still support our area and they support the chamber, and they want to be able to show that. So we will still be doing the brick campaign at least for a few more weeks this spring. And then we'll probably take a little hiatus until the fall when we kick off phase 2 of the fundraiser. So if you have any interest in that, feel free to call our office and we can give you some more information. We also have a ribbon cutting that is coming up, and this is for the Christmas station in Bedford, and that's going to be on Friday, May 19th at 12 o'clock. And I'm really excited for this ribbon cutting because I've actually never been inside of the Christmas station.
Really? I was actually just there this weekend.
Okay.
And I came in there like, you've been here before, haven't you? And I was like, yes, and I'll be back again soon enough for your ribbon cutting. Yeah, I love the Christmas station. They do so many great things for our community. They have their actual building, which is why we're having the ribbon cutting. They had some really major renovations in 2021 and 2022, and had some very generous grants and donations, and as well as work provided by the Mountain View Church missions team. And so they completely redid their exterior. They have new windows, new doors, new fridges, new freezers. The list is very long, so they're very excited to be kind of reopening and showing the public what exactly they've done to their building. But the building is open for a limited amount of months of the year, and people can donate all of the things that they sell, and when they resell them, all of the proceeds go towards their other programs, such as their food pantry and the Christmas gifts that they give people all across Bedford County. So it's a really great cause. I'm really excited for this ribbon cutting.
It is, yeah. And they're also going to be doing an open house after the ribbon cutting that day. So if you're like me and you've never been in there, you can stay after the ribbon cutting and see what all they have to offer. I think it'll be really exciting to see all the new things that are in there. So again, that one is going to be Friday, May 19th at 12 o'clock at the Christmas station in Bedford. And so also our leads groups, we have our Forest leads group that has been going strong for 17 years?
Something like that, yeah.
And then we had a Bedford leads group that kind of fell apart with COVID. So we brought that back at the first of this year. And they have been meeting on the first and third Tuesday of every month from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. And right now they have a few openings in the group.
Yep. And for those who don't know what a leads group is, it's essentially people that want to get to know other business professionals in the area. They want to know, what everybody else is doing. If they have, like, say you're a real estate agent and somebody who works in like mortgage loans, they know somebody who needs to buy a house. Well, they can connect you that way. It's just a really good way to, build your professional and personal networking connections.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the list at our office if you want to call and just ask if your business category is available. And I guess we should also mention we only have one person per business category
Yes.
just to make sure if we're using the real estate example, if we have 3 real estate agents and we only have one person that needs to buy a house, we don't want anybody fighting over leads. So one person per business category. And right now we have several business categories open. So feel free to call our office and check with Michelle. She'll be able to let you know what is open in the group. And Michelle is actually the chamber representative that leads the Bedford Leads group as well. So she'll know more about it. I'm sure she can answer any questions that you would have if you call. So our office number is 540-586-9401. We also have all of our events listed on our website, bedfordareachamber.com. If you are looking for something on there and you can't find it, feel free to give us a call and we'll help you out or answer any questions you may have. But we will go ahead and introduce our guest and get on to the interview part of the show.
Well, like Kayla said, we have a very wonderful guest. I'd like to welcome Atife, who is the head of school for the World Community Education Center. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I am really excited to be here and excited to talk about Montessori school that we have here in Bedford.
Yeah, we're really excited to get to know your business a little bit more and get to know you a little bit more. So before we start, can you tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit about World Community Education Center?
Sure. So my name is Atife, and I am actually from Bedford, born and raised, and I'm also an alumna of our school.
Cool.
I've been head for about 3 years now. Before that, I had a career working in international development. I worked for a nonprofit that partnered with the U.S. Department of State. Did mostly international work, traveling around the world, empowering local communities mostly through working with their young people, entrepreneurship, leadership training. And after directing a program there for about 10 years, I realized I wanted to come back and work in my own local community, and especially with young people. So.
That's really amazing. And so you have a really, I'm looking at your background that you gave us, and it is very, very impressive. And do you think that, well, I expect that you do think this, but can you tell us a little bit about how you being an alumna of your school has kind of impacted, what you do now?
Sure. So I think, our school is a small school, and we have a couple core values. One of them is to foster and inspire and maintain a love of learning and a love of service. And I think I'm definitely a product of that as an alumni. I love school. I love learning. And when I got to college, I was sort of surprised, like, hey, people don't like taking tests. Like, hey, this is fun, because that was just always fostered in me. And then I've heard that from other alumni of our school, that they get to college and their professors are just amazed by them because they still love learning. And I also think that love of service, that sense of giving back, of always being aware, taking responsibility for whether it's your classroom as a young child, our school campus, that's, we do a lot of service on campus, or our larger community, or even the community, the global community, that's sort of been the thread that's led my career for sure.
That is really amazing.
It is, and we're here today to talk about the World Community Education Center, but I would love to just hear a little bit about, it says in your bio that you sent us that you traveled and worked in more than 15 countries. Will you just talk a little bit about how you traveled around and some of the places that you went and what you did there?
Sure. So most of that travel was with State Department programs, implementing projects in partnership with the State Department. And it was amazing. I'm really grateful for that opportunity to just get to travel all across North Africa, Southeast Asia, and Europe. There's a whole list of countries there, but I think, some of the things I appreciated from that opportunity is to see how much of the core values of humanity are the same. And kind of bringing it back to our school, I'd say that's one of the things that we try to foster in our students is that appreciation of that there are some universal values, love, compassion, kindness, justice, generosity. And you see that, in young children, and you see that in our community here in Bedford, and we see that in communities, small communities around the world. And so seeing those connections was really neat. Of course, there's some amazing diversity and amazing differences. And also that's something I see and we try to foster in our school is appreciation, respect for diversity, welcoming of all people from all different backgrounds. So those are kind of some of the great opportunities that I had. And then, being able to bring that and connect that back has been really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. And so tell us about how the World Community Education Center was founded and when it was founded.
Sure. So the school has actually been around for quite a while. It's founded in the 70s. Originally, kind of a small group of parents inspired by Montessori and wanting to provide a alternative education for their children. Over the years, we've really grown from that, and now we are serving families from all around our local community. We've got families that live right around the corner and families, Forest, Lynchburg, Roanoke. We've got a couple families that drive an hour every day because they're really committed to our school. So we're still small, but we're really grateful to be able to serve a larger community now.
Yeah, that is really cool. And can you tell us a little bit about why Montessori, a little bit about the Montessori philosophy? And you've kind of told us about the value-based education, but can you tell us a little bit about, just generally how it stands out compared to other educational systems?
Sure. So our program goes from primary, which is about 2.5, all the way through high school.
Oh, wow.
And our Montessori program is the primary through elementary program.
Okay.
So upper elementary is about 6th, 7th grade. Some of your listeners might be really familiar with Montessori, others maybe never heard it before, so I'll give the really short version. There's lots more out there, but Maria Montessori was an Italian physician. She was an educator and an innovator. She was born in the 1870, so quite a while ago, and she was really ahead of her time. And she worked with children, and she observed how they learned. And so she created a beautiful curriculum and a set of materials that follow the way that children learn. And so what you'll see if you walk into one of our Montessori classrooms, it's a large space, it's a beautiful space. There is a lot of material on the shelves, and the material is designed to be tactile, interesting, colorful, and the physical materials are representing a lot of abstract concepts. So you'll have wooden things that might represent a mathematical concept. And to a young child, maybe it looks like a building blocks or a toy, and they work with that, and they're given a lesson on how to work with it. And then as they get older, those same materials, we start to bring in the abstract concepts, the mathematical concepts, the learning concepts behind it. So you'll see beautiful material. You see children working independently. Even 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, they select a work, they bring it to their desk, they put it back. You'll see children taking responsibility for their classroom. I was in the classroom one time and there was a big bead spill and all the children rushed over and they got out the brooms and we want to help clean up, so they really take ownership and responsibility for their classroom. There's a whole set of practical life things. So we don't have a janitorial service in our school. The students take responsibility for all the aspects of their classroom, and they really take ownership of that, and they love doing it. And it's great to see that, and I hope that translates to home life too. So I guess one more thing I'll say is, everything's child-sized, and there's also one of the other parts of the Montessori philosophy is a love of order. So just keeping things tidy and ordered, and that environment, creating an environment that really fosters learning. I can talk forever about Montessori. I'll pause now, but...
No, that's so interesting. One of my really good friends in college, who I just kind of met out of the blue in an art class, he went to a K through 12 Montessori school and was just the most generous person because he had just been raised that way. And that was what was fostered in him, like in all aspects of his life. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. This is my first time getting to really talk to someone about Montessori from like an education standpoint.
So one of the things that I really also value as both a head of school, a teacher, and a parent is the mixed age classrooms. So that's something we keep through all our levels, even up through the high school level. And we're able to do that because we're a small school. So we've got small class sizes, I'd say between 5 and 10 students per class or level. And it's really, if you're a parent, that, or, a human being, you'll know that we learn differently. So somebody might be well ahead in like English, but struggling with math, or vice versa. Or, we have different skills and different approaches to learning. And our school really tries to embrace that and see those things as strengths. And in a Montessori classroom and with small classes, we're able to work individually with each child and make sure that they're progressing at the right speed for them in every subject, in every area, keeping each child challenged, but not so challenged that they feel frustrated, and there's like that sweet spot there. And I'm really proud of the way that our teachers are able to do that. So that's something I'm really, I love about our school. And that mixed age classroom also kind of fosters that because you have maybe some older children that can model for the younger children, and then the younger children look up to them or taking that, responsibility. So kind of another neat thing to see.
That is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What is the teacher to student ratio at your school? Or does it vary, I guess, depending on what you're doing?
I guess it varies. So at our middle school and high school level, we have different teachers for different subjects. So we'll have a math teacher, a science teacher, etc. And so there's more teachers for those students. In the Montessori levels, the model there is to have one lead teacher, and that person gets to know each child, and they're with them through the whole day, and they're kind of making sure they're following the arc of that student's daily, monthly, yearly progress. So it's a little bit different depending on the levels. In a larger classroom, larger for us might be like 10 students, then there might be an aide as well. And again, that's just to really create the best possible learning environment for children. So we definitely have lots of teachers.
Sounds very
teachers
hands-on.
who, give back and love learning and love children. So
very cool. So can you talk about the facility?
Yeah, so we are on a beautiful campus right here in Bedford, or 15 minutes, I guess, from downtown. It's actually an 80-acre campus.
Wow.
So we share that with a summer camp program, but it works out really well because school year, summer camp.
Yeah.
And so we've got access to some beautiful sports fields and basketball court. There's a beautiful stream, Island Creek, that runs through our campus, pond, nature trails, and kind of set back in the woods. And so we really try to take advantage of that. And I've read a lot of studies, and I really believe personally that on the power of nature for learning, for keeping, all human beings, but especially children, calm, peaceful, enjoying, just go play in the woods. So we have a great playgrounds, but a lot of times the kids run down there and they play in the woods, they're digging around and just, appreciating this right now. It's tentworm caterpillar season.
Oh, gosh.
This is my pet, and they bring them out. So, those little things, they get so much joy out of that. So just, daily students are out in nature. And then also our teachers take advantage of nature. So especially like a science class, they'll take a walk down to the stream. I just saw elementary teacher came back yesterday with a class with a bunch of tadpoles, and they were going to study them. We also have little organic garden. That's everything is edible there. We have a greenhouse. So, we have a donkey barn. So we got a lot of cool things like that. And it's really great to see the kids just light up when they get outside.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure having so much land just provides so many opportunities for learning when the kids are outside, and it's not the traditional sit in the classroom for 8 hours straight. You can go walk around and explore, and it doesn't have to be as rigid as maybe public school.
Absolutely. I think that's something that I hear parents, especially parents that maybe have had their kids in public school and then switched to us, or children that have been there, they say, they just feel more comfortable, more, I mean, again, you see kids, it is hard for anybody to sit still for too long.
Yeah.
And kids especially. And I think the brain turns off if you are not allowed to move. So that's something that we see. We really try to create space for that in our classrooms. Again, in the Montessori classroom, the curriculum is naturally designed towards that. A student works with a material till they feel like they've finished. When they want to get up and put it away and get out new material, they do that. And so they're always moving and keeping their interest. And then when you get older, middle school and high school, they need to stay in their class. But at the same time, our teachers will often say, hey, okay, get up, find a new place in the classroom, work independently, move to do, a group project. And they take breaks and they run around the building at break time. And we have a school cat. And she's always getting lots of attention on breaks and things like that. So students move and they learn better because of it. And we definitely try to allow that and even, foster that.
Mm-hmm. And the love of order is really, I think it's really interesting, the embracing, like, kids being kids, really, and making it customized to them and allowing them to be mobile and, be stimulated, but also the love of order so that you embrace discipline. Like, it's a really interesting two sides of the coin.
Well, before I was working with children, I was working with adults. And one of the things I saw that really makes someone successful is some of those executive functions, ability to keep their calendar, to keep up with their responsibilities, to prioritize, what's important versus what seems urgent, and to be good communicators. And all of those life skills that are going to make someone successful as an adult, we are working on those in the classroom, whether it's, keeping your desk tidy and taking responsibility for your classroom, or knowing how to prioritize doing your homework, and, or in the class, learning to be good communicators and how to work through things. So our program and our education is not just about the academics. It's definitely about all those other skills, the character development, the good communication, those executive functions of organizing yourself and feeling confident and knowing how to tackle a bunch of different complicated tasks, critical thinking. And I believe those things are just as important, if not more important, than the academics that you might get. So you see, we're really trying to set people up for, and I believe we are setting students up and adults to be really successful adults because they've got that balance of really great skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And will you tell us a little bit about your key values and what they mean to you all?
Sure. So you'll see in our mission, love of learning, love of service, quality academic experience, and universal values. Those are kind of some of our core values. And what that means on a day-to-day basis, as I said, I think I've talked about love of learning, but every human being comes with that spark, that excitement for learning something. I think our job as teachers is just to not squash that, to keep that going, follow the interest of the student. Love of service, again, a lot of human beings have that. We want to give back. We want to be part of our community. But sometimes that needs to be structured, that needs to be fostered. You need to think beyond yourself. And we try to create space for that. Universal values, you'll see that in the way that we approach character development. Kind of mentioned, I believe we all share certain universal values, but at the same time, there's a lot of diversity, and we try to find that balance of where do we connect as human beings, but also really respecting and welcoming all kinds of diversity, religious, ethnic, every kind of diversity there is. We welcome it. We try to bring that into our school and our class. So those are kind of some of the core things that you'll see in our school, in a balance.
Perfect. Can you also, I know that you said that your school was founded by parents who are interested in alternate education. What is the parent involvement at your school like now?
That's a great question. So we are a small school and a small community, and I think there's a really close-knit community feel. Part of our model is creating space and welcoming parents to be part of our school community. We have a high number, I don't know, compared to other schools, but we have quite a few parents who are also teachers.
Okay.
And that's really great. Or parents who are volunteers, maybe volunteer as a substitute teacher or volunteer to teach an elective. And I think it's great to have parents in the school and parents giving back. And parents love to have that opportunity too. We also have opportunities for parent service. So we'll do like parent work days and clean up the campus, fundraisers, things like that. And so a lot of parents say that some of the reasons that they choose our school is because of that community feel, that they feel connected with other parents. They're looking for, people who have like-minded parents with a similar approach to education and to raising their children. It's sometimes hard to find in the world, I think. You're looking, as a parent, you're busy with things, and you're looking for people that can support you, and that support community is really important.
That is really cool. And you mentioned fundraisers. Do you guys have any events coming up?
We do, actually.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you for asking.
Of course.
We are going to be at the Bedford Farmers Market on Saturday the 13th. So that's not this weekend, but next weekend. And we are going to have a few things out there. We're going to have some of our students, some of our parents. We're going to be doing a bake sale and also an art sale. So this year we actually partnered with the Bauer Center for the Arts and they gave us some great art teachers, and the students have just done a lot of really cool work. So we want to showcase that. And there might even be a few other things. We also had an entrepreneurship class this year, and our middle schoolers decided to write short stories and then turn them into books and sell the books.
Oh, that's
so I've invited them, those of them who are ready, to bring out their books and sell that. So those will just be a few of the things that'll be there, and we'll be there, and I'll be there most of the morning too and chat with people, and we're excited to be there and hope that people will come out and see us.
That is so cool. That's so creative. I love hearing what your students are doing.
Yes, it's awesome.
I think the students speak for themselves. That's like, but we just step back and you see them, and we've actually, we have teachers come in and they say, "You guys have just the coolest students. They're really great. They love learning. So I praise them to the skies. We've got great teachers, but our students are also really amazing.
That is amazing.
So,
I always put people on the spot because I always want to hear client stories. Can you tell us maybe just one example of a time that a student really went above and beyond and you were just touched by it? Because I feel like you have many of those stories, and I would just love to hear one.
Well, let's see. It might be hard to come up with just one. Can I tell you a couple short ones?
Yes, please. Please do.
So one thing I've really appreciated is that we've had a number of students come back and volunteer as teachers. So we had a student, she's actually right now getting her master's degree in public health at Yale.
Oh, wow.
But she came back over the summer. She happens to be a really great artist, and she taught our students art for free for a year, and they just loved her and they loved it. So that's just one example of some of our graduates coming back and giving back. And I think that's a real testament to the school, because
it really does.
They maintain that connection and they want to give back. I would say, every day I also see students just living the values, and that's really cool. So it's really sweet. We have a teacher that comes in, and she has a lot of like boxes and stuff that she has to bring in, and the elementary students, there's like 7-8-year-olds, they're always like, "Let us help you carry those to your car." And they're carrying you. I can't believe they can pick them up. So just those little moments of like, "Let us help. How can I help?" Without being asked. And, I love to see that. So there's just kind of two examples, I guess, from the young to the older of giving back.
That is really sweet. Thank you. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add? I feel like we've had a really productive conversation.
I think we've kind of covered everything, which has been really nice. Thank you for this opportunity. I think, I guess I will say that we are enrolling for next year. And now is a great time if you're interested, to reach out and I would be happy to have a phone call with anybody who's interested and have people come out in the next few weeks. Where school ends in the end of May. So the next few weeks is a great time for people that are interested to come out and see the school while it's in session. So
amazing. And if people want to get in contact with you, what is the best phone number?
So the best number is 540-297-1662. That's our office number. We're also online. Maybe you can put the website in the show notes or something like that.
Definitely.
And email us, and I'll get back to people right away.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this, for coming on. And, we're so happy to have you as one of our chamber members and to see you guys at the farmers market.
Hey, we'll see you there, hopefully.
Yeah, I will definitely be there. So.
And if anyone listening has any questions about the chamber, feel free to reach out to us. And we will be back next week with another Chamber Vibes podcast.